Hi, I'm Richard, and in today's space station modelling tutorial we'll start modelling out the tunnels. So let's get started. Hi, and thanks for watching. So in today's tutorial what we're going to do is we're going to start modelling out these tunnels here. Obviously this is a very basic one, but you're getting the idea of where we want to go with this. I've kind of hollowed out some sections into these tunnels here. You can see here. We'll put some computer equipment in there, and I think we'll probably go to town and add some more stuff to the ceiling and the floor. But this is a general layout. I actually really like the way this looks. I didn't spend a lot of time on this, and I was already pleased with the way Substance Painter came up with some textures for me. So let's, without further ado, crack on to the piece in Blender, and I'll talk about how we're going to go about this. So let's go over to Blender now. Okay, as before, I'm using Blender 2.78a. It doesn't need a tremendously recent version, but it's I always like to try and keep up to date. Let's make sure when we go into N, we'll bring up the properties, and we'll also bring up the Scene tab and set the length to metric. Okay, so we get an idea of the length of our tunnel. The way we're going to create it, I'm going to create a kind of a. If I go to top view here, I'm going to create a. I wonder if I can do this with the D thing. Here we go. So I'm going to create a tunnel that looks like this, and I'm going to have a section here, and then another coming down all the way down, I think, and then another section here. There's actually not going to be any gameplay with this per se. It's just going to be a kind of place you can wander and look around on, and I'd encourage you obviously to create some sort of game with it. But this is more of a sort of a conceptual tutorial, so I hope that's useful to you. I'm going to add some windows to D there. I'm going to add some windows here, looking out, and here, so you can see out in the corner. So we'll have to add a skybox that looks like we're in space. Looking out that way, there we go. So it looks like we're looking out in space at the moment. The skybox is very, it's kind of a blue sky, isn't it? And a green grass. I can't remember. We'll change that anyway. We'll probably use something from the Unity asset store. So let's just get rid of that. How do I get rid of that? I can't remember. D control. I'll tell you. I'll just start a new window. What is it? Is it D and then control? No, D and then shift. I can't remember what it is. Grease pencil, here we go. It's down here somewhere. Here we go. So I can just click on grease pencil layers and then just delete that. There we go. Right, we're off. Been a while since I used the grease pencil. It's useful. I know a lot of people use grease pencil to create their models and all sorts of things. Blender's kind of cool like that, isn't it? But I never really used the grease pencil. Right, now then, let me tell you what we're going to do here. The way we're going to do this is I'm actually going to break this up and use the mirror modifier quite extensively so that I can create a high resolution model in terms of the UV space it's going to create in one texture, and then we'll reuse that texture in every single piece of the tunnel. If that didn't make any sense, I can understand that because it didn't make a lot of sense to me. So let's go in here first of all. Just do Control Tab Face, and we'll just get those two end pieces there. Press X, delete faces. All right. So this is the start of our tunnel going in there. There's a few concepts I'm going to be talking about as we go through here. Please let me know if they don't make any sense. I can get a bit confusing sometimes. Now what I'll do before I delete those, I want to add a couple of edge loops. One there, actually I want to add 3 edge loops, one there and one there. Do you know what? No, that's okay. That's okay. We can work with that. I was going to say we should do that after I've lengthened the tunnel out a bit, because now if we just scale that on the Y, what do you think? Let's try 4. So the size is now 8 meters. Yeah, I think that's a good length. And then the Z-axis is 2, which is the up and down, but the sort of vertical axis in Blender. And I think what we'll do is we'll make the X-axis 4 meters. There we go. So it's a pretty large tunnel, isn't it? If we zoom back in, there we go. The edge loops are in the same place. Now get ready for this. Let's press 5 to go into orthographic view and 1 to go to front view. Control Tab 1, Z to go into wireframe, and A to clear everything. And we're going to start actually box selecting everything. Oh, hang on. Let's try that again. So it's the left hand side, and we'll just delete those vertices. Let's press 1 to go to front view. The bottom edges, delete those, and the ones on the right, delete those. Yep, that's right. So we're literally left with the top right hand corner. This is the bit that we're actually going to just use as the unwrap for the entire texture. So that way, it's we're going to get a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? Sort of texture space. Okay, rather than using this one texture for the whole thing, we just use the texture for this one corner and reuse it. Like I say, apologies if this isn't making huge amounts of sense yet, but let's add the mirror modifier. So add the mirror modifier, and it's going to be on the X, the Y, and the Z. And the reason we're getting away with that is because the origin, if I just talk to the top there, it was in that corner there, so we can do that. And now, if I just grab that corner there, look, it's going to apply it to every single thing. That's kind of cool, isn't it? There we go. But we're going to make this a tunnel. And now, did I just move that? Yes, I did. There. Be careful not to do that. Okay, now we'll delete that face there, and we've got ourselves a tunnel, albeit a very boring looking one. So let's just go into Edge View, and we'll select this one here, this edge here. Actually, before we do that, I'm just going to come out and go into Object Mode, Control A, Rotation and Scale. Make sure they're all 1, 1, 1 there. Tab back in and do. Let's go Front View actually, and just do select that edge. One to go to Front View, and then Control B, and pick an angle that you like the look of. That looks pretty good, although I would say that one there, I might just grab that on the Z a bit. Yeah, let's just quickly go to here. Grab on the Z a bit, pull that up like that. How's that? That looks pretty good. That looks like a good tunnel to me. Sort of sci-fi look. I mean, obviously, let me bring up the images I was looking at on Google. 1 second. Here we go. It's this sort of thing that I'm looking at. I mean, this to me I thought was a little bit narrow, but I like these angles. I'll bet you there is some ratio. This angle here is very, very common in sci-fi. All the things I look at, you sort of see these. Nothing's 90 degrees in sci-fi. It's all sort of 45 or maybe 30-degree angles. I was saying that, look, that's all 90 degrees. Let me find a quick example of what I'm talking about. Yeah, this pieces like this. I don't know if I can zoom in if it'll let me. There, these sort of angles here. You see, it doesn't do 90 degrees. They kind of. I go as far as that's probably 45, isn't it? But so nothing's pin sharp, and I think that's kind of a common theme for sci-fi models. Right, so let's spin back into Blender here. And what we'll now do is we will tab in, and we're going to do something a bit funky here. We're going to do Control R twice and just click on there, and then we will Control Tab 3, just grab these ones here, and we're going to extrude them on the X axis, so E then X, and then pull those back until you find a distance that you're comfortable with. I'm not following any rules here, which may come back and bite me later on because I'm not using any distances. But let's have a look at that. Now, one thing obviously you can see is that this face there has suddenly appeared, but that's okay. We'll get rid of that. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So let's quickly get rid of that face there. X faces. One thing I like to do is just to click on this sometimes. It shouldn't matter here. We should be pretty clear, but just remove the mirror. Just click on the eye just to hide it and see if there's any faces that are, if you like, in the middle that you weren't expecting. Always worth checking that. Okay, so that's pretty comfortable, but it looks very solid. And like I said, looking at this stuff here, it's there's usually an angle on almost everything. I like this. Who's done this? Cybertonian tunnel concept. Interesting. Everyone's kind of gone for a round one. I've gone for a more hexagonal one, I guess you'd say. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually bevel these edges here, and these edges here. So let's do that now. So let's just Control Tab 2, select those two and those two. I'm just doing Alt Shift right click, and then just do Control B. Pull that out to an angle that you're comfortable with, and I'm going to do exactly the same with these two. Just those two? Yes, just those two. And pull those back as well. Alright. You don't have to do those actually. Do you know what? I'm not going to do those. The reason I'm not doing those is because they're not going to be seen barely. Alright, I don't want to waste unnecessary verts. But those ones are important there. There we go, and that's looking pretty good. The one thing I did do, and I don't know if I need to do this, but it looks alright, it's just add a set. Let's see if I've still got Unity running. Yes, I have. By the way, I've totally messed this project up, so I'm going to have to clean it all up, and I'll do that before we go into Unity. If you're wondering why that's looking so weird, I'll explain that in a minute. Yeah, what I did was I lowered the top section there just to add a little bit of interest to it. I'm thinking the problem is now I've beveled it. I wonder if I'm too late. Hang on, let's just see if I can get away with it. Now there we go. So now I can do this. Couple of Control Zs, and then we'll just grab that one, GX, pull that in like that, and then Control Tab 3, grab those three, and just grab it on the Z and pull that in just a little bit. All right, and that's gone up at the bottom, and down at the top. I think that looks. I think that just adds a nice touch to it. You could even do it here, couldn't you? Yeah, maybe just do the same thing. So Control Tab, face there. Just pull these two in. Ah, sorry, we're going to need another one. Won't we? Control R. Ah, Control Z. Control R. Stop it. Control R. What sort of professional idiot is this? Right, there we go. Control R and then 3. Just grab those two and just pull them out on the X-axis and nudge like that. Yeah, I think that's worth doing. Okay, so we've got lots of angles there going on, and nothing too horrifying. Oh, we've lost that bevel there, so let's put that bevel back. That was because I was messing around. I do want to keep those ones. I think they're important. Yes, that's right. Control B and just pull that out like that. Okay, I think that makes for a pretty good tunnel. And if we just show you, we're only at the moment all we've done is model that piece there. It's kind of cool, right? And all we're going to do is texture this piece here. So we're going to unwrap just, we're going to unwrap just this piece here. So everything that we do will be applied to all the other, was it 7 pieces? That's right, 7 pieces. So we there may be some seam issues when we do this, but we'll have a look and see how it looks in Unity. Last time there were no seam issues. If there are, we'll put some objects in there to hide that. So let's not apply this. Let's just start working on unwrapping it. So the way I did this was just pull it across, click on here, UV image editor, and we'll tab in here. So let's just see what's obvious to us. Let's pull that across over there. So for me, I think we can get away with quite a lot of this top bit here, or we could do something like this whole section. I'm just sort of working my way up and around like that. Now, so if I do that, Control E, mark seam, Control Tab 3, and just press L there. Let's unwrap that and see how that looks. That's unwrapped perfectly, but I can tell by the fact that everything's straight. Let's just press N and then press stretch. It needs to be perfectly blue, and it is. So then what we'll do, that's worked very, very well, is we'll hide that. And this is the bit that we need now to unwrap. And this is going to be a bit more tricky because of those beveled edges. We've got a few things we could do. What we could just do is Control Tab 2. Is just start going down these ones here. Let's just see how this looks. And the same on the other side. Let's do that one as well. I'm not sure if we need to, so I'll need to do that bottom one as well here. Control E, mark seam. Let's try it. U, unwrap. Yeah, so it's all mangled up. Okay, that didn't work quite as well as I'd hoped. So what I might do is just do that. Control E, mark seam, and now Control T 3, L, U, unwrap. That's unwrapped almost perfectly, apart from those things have overlapped, which drives me mad. I think that must be that one there, edge. So all we can do is just Control E, clear seam, Control Tab 3, L, U, unwrap there, and it's not perfect, but it's not terrible either. It's not at the end of the world because these bits are barely going to be seen anyway. And then so if we do the same on the other side, all that lot and that lot there, Control E, mark seam, and now Control Tab 3. Let's just make sure L, U, unwrap. Oh yeah, sorry. Just Control E, clear seam, L, U, unwrap. Yeah, okay. See, there's overlap here. I don't know if you can see this, but let's just press N again to get rid of that. These guys have overlap, which is very, very frustrating. I don't know why Blender thinks it should be able to do that, so I'm just going to get rid of those ones, and if I'm doing that, I should get rid of those ones for consistency. Clear seam. L, U, unwrap, yeah. Oh, okay, so that's actually not too bad, is it? And then let's try the other side. L, U, unwrap. Yeah, that's alright. Okay, so and the only one that's left is this one, L, U. I'm thinking that's going to unwrap beautifully, nice and straight. There we go. So now if we just do Alt H, bring everything back, select all, U, unwrap. How are we doing for space? I think we can work on this, because what I could potentially do is just, if we do Control Tab Island on this, you can do that. Just click it and then grab that and pull that into there. Could we join those up? Let's have a look. Oh, excuse me, shift space to bring it up to full screen. Oh, look at that, it doesn't quite fit, does it? Grab that. My goodness, it's very tempting, isn't it? Now what you can do, we can Control Tab 2. If I just do those two bits there, Am I on edge? Yes, I am. And do V, and then press Enter. It actually joins those guys up, look. And I'm pretty happy with that. That's good news, because that means now that... Oh, excuse me. Shift space. I thought that would get rid of that edge there. I thought that did that for us, or maybe it doesn't. So let's just Control E, clear seam, and then Control Tab. Yeah, so we can. Sorry guys, I'm just doing this as I go. Unwrapping is such a beast. Control E, clear seam. Control Tab 3, L. That's fine. U, unwrap. There, perfect, perfect. Right, now we just do A, U, unwrap. And I'm pretty happy. So we'll just Control Tab 4, grab the lot, put it in that corner there, and just grab these bits, maybe rotate that one 90. I'm not hugely worried about these, just sort of pick a position. Same with you, rotate and grab like that. Yeah, and now because we've managed, because we've kind of done that very, very cleanly, I should select them all, grab it and scale it right up. This is going to make for a great amount of texture space here. Okay, that's really good. I'm really pleased with that. I could tweak these, but I'm really not going to because they're barely going to be seen once we put our computer stuff in there, and we're not going to put any logos on them or any normals. So this is good news. Right, so let's save this now. I'm going to save this as Tunnel 02. You probably want to save it as Tunnel 01. And what we now need to do, okay, this is the just let me spin back to Unity. You may have spotted something really weird going on here, in that suddenly you can see through that you can, everything's fine when you go down here. There's the roof there. Let's zoom in a bit so you can see what I'm talking about. But when I go to the top over here, it's gone. Where did it go? Well, we're using normals, and because we're only going to be using the inside of this tunnel, we want the normals to be facing inwards. Okay. Now I could make as a solidify modifier, solidify modifier to this to give it an inside and an outside. The only thing about that is I think it's unnecessary. We're only going to be inside here, and what I'm going to do. My grease pencil's gone, but I will put the windows on the corners so you won't be able to see into the sort of the opposite side of the tunnel, if you like. Otherwise, that would look kind of weird. So we will. If I just go over here now and just click, select everything, and then just go over here where it says normals under the shading, under mesh display. Click on the faces one there, and you can see that they're all facing outwards, which is actually, realistically probably quite correct, but we want them to be facing inwards because we're going to be inside of this tunnel. So what we'll do is just click that lot there, select the tools up, select shading UVs, okay, and then under normals click flip direction, and now they're all facing inwards. You may have to, if you're unlucky, do Control N, which will sort of, if you like, make sure they're all facing the right way in its opinion, but we're actually saying it's wrong, but just click flip direction so it's inside. Alright, so we've got ourselves a tunnel piece that looks like, it looks just good, and I'm going to actually delete the modifier. So let's tab out there and just delete the modifier, because I'm going to export this into Substance Painter, and then we're going to re-add the we're going to texture this out, and then we will reapply the modifier before we bring it into Unity. Okay, I don't know if this is the perfect workflow to do this, but it makes for a lovely, nice size texture here that we can really work with. So let's just save that again. I think I already did save it, but I'm just getting paranoid. And we'll do export FBX, and we're in Blender Space Station Tunnel 02. That's what we're after. Make sure we select selected objects and experimental, and click export FBX. Nice and quick. Alright, so let's head over to Substance Painter and get this textured. And here we are again in everyone's favourite, at least my favourite, Substance Painter. I mentioned this in the previous video. I won't go too much into detail about it, but it's a paid-for product that allows you to texture using something called physical based rendering, which allows you to see the object as you texture it. There is a 30-day trial, so if you're... Apologies, I was. You may have heard the phone go off then. Yeah. So where was I? Yeah. So pay for product. It's there is a 30-day trial as well, so I'll put a link into the comments below, so you can download it if you want to. But it's well worth the money. So let's import that small piece that we got from Blender. Where is Blender gone? Where are you, Blender? There you are. This little piece here that we're going to be texturing now. Let's go back over to Substance Painter, do File, New, select our boy here, and it's going to be, you see I've got a few more here. Apologies if this is confusing you, but what did we call it? Tunnel02.fbx, didn't we? You may have something different, and I suspect you'll probably have a lot less than I have. I've been working on this in the background, doing some other bits as well that I'll do in future videos. Right, okay, so document resolution, you can set that to 2048 or 1024. It doesn't actually matter right now. I was going to set it to 2048 because that's the texture I like to use, and we just click OK, and this will come in. And here you go, you can see it's really, let's click over to viewer settings and just bring the environment opacity up, and you can see this really weird effect where you can actually, when you're this side of it, everything's fine. Sort of the underside, if you like. When you're on the top, that bit disappears. I'm not hugely sure whether this is good practice or not, whether we should just solidify it and get on with it. But I'm in the mood for. I do like to optimize things and not waste verts and potentially GPU time. So this is the thing I've gone with. Hope that works for you. If it's too confusing, again, let me know and I'll show you how to do a solidify modifier. So let's bake this. This is the other thing you've got to do here. So you just click Bake Textures, and we will do 2048 by 2048 on the output size, and I'll set the anti-aliasing to 2 by 2, which really slows it down. Something, there we go, and we'll click Baked Material Textures. Now normally I'd pause it here, but I just wanted to say a big thank you to the huge number of subscribers I've been getting recently. Well, by huge, obviously it's all relative, but the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks I've been getting sort of 4 or 5 subscribers a day, and I don't even know what to say. I'm in awe of every one of you for subscribing to me, and I really appreciate it. I hope I'm doing stuff that you find interesting. If there's anything you would like me to do, perhaps some more coding rather than modelling, happy to do that. Just need a little bit of a steer and some advice on maybe where you want to get this stuff from, and I can look into it as long as it kind of infuses me as well. So let's let this finish, and I will come back. Okay, so that's finished. So let's work on getting some of these textures in. So what I actually did here, I think all I literally did at the start was grab one of these smart materials here and just grab the one that says plastic walls and pulled it in. And sure enough, that actually looks really, really good, I thought, from the very outset. I like the sort of style of this, the sheen and how that looks. The only thing I didn't like was this orange dirt. I think I changed the colour to something a lot darker. Move that down, somewhere down like that, just to make it look a little bit darker. This annoys me a bit, the fact that the light isn't showing up properly on that, but I think this is a thing I'm going to have to suffer for this project. The other thing I noticed, by the way, is that this smart materials, it's got a load of layers that aren't actually used, so let's just delete those. Okay, so that looks quite neat. I think I want to add a dirt mask as well, so let's just add a new one of those. So just click on the layer there, and we'll just call this edge dirt. Edge dirt is what I'm going with this. I might not spell that right, and we'll just make it just the colour, and we want the colour to be black-ish. We can change that in a minute, and we'll add the trusty black mask, and go to smart masks here. And I think let's just try concrete edges. How does that look? Pretty good. I mean, a little bit thick, but we can work on that in a second. Let's just try a couple of others. Dirt complex. Yes, that's gone every. Well, see, if it went more on the edges, I'd be happy, but it doesn't. So, see, this isn't just this concrete edges. I don't think that was strong enough. He says it's done that inside, and no, I'm going to go with the one I liked before, which was concrete edges here. It's just added a bit there, and I think what I'll do is go to the mask editor and just tweak this up until those edges are looking pretty rough, like that. There we go. And then what we can do in here is we just come back in here and just lower the opacity until we find something that isn't quite so. There we go. It's just so there's a bit of edge dirt there. I mean, I'm not happy with there being edge dirt there. I might even trim that out later on, but for now that's fine. Okay, let's save this. I already saved it as Tunnel 02 a few seconds ago, so that's good. You didn't see me do that. I apologize. I paused it and saved it without you seeing that. So okay, so this is good. Let's add some decals to it now. One thing I did do was add a sort of a blue, I don't know, we call them blue chevrons. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's just add a new paint layer. Let's call it blue, I don't know if it is chevrons, let's call it blue indent. And we will go over to here, and the only thing we want to do here is just the colour and the height. And I'll click on alpha, pull it down, it's here somewhere, there you go, stack. We just need to rotate the angle on 90 degrees. Control right click to make it bigger. Oh yes, a couple of other things. Let's just go to orthographic view, which is F6, and also select the mirror on the Z axis, and it already is good. So just Alt Shift to lock it into position, and then we'll just make this a bit bigger. What can be useful there actually is you go to viewer settings and click on wireframe. You can see the verts a bit more clearly. So let's try that. It's not done the colour I wanted. That's because I haven't selected a colour, but I wanted to go for a blue, like that blue there. And we'll just tweak it until we find a colour we like. And the height isn't set either. Gosh, Richard, you are missing this. So let's try indenting first. Yeah, I like that. If you're thinking that, hey, that's added a load of verts to it, it hasn't. It's actually just used a kind of height map to give this effect. The GPU sort of cheats and says, I'll pretend there's light on there. It's a subject all in its own right, but it's not added any real computational effort to do things like that, which is kind of cool. So let's add. So that's that one. Let's add some boxes as well at this top, on this top piece here. I'm calling them boxes, but just sort of areas that we won't want to put buttons and levers and things later on. So let's add a new paint layer, and we don't want this to be the color. We'll just make this a a height layer, and we'll go over here and click on, we've got rectangular bevel. Let's have a quick look. Yes, I think that's the one to go for, although we don't want that to be 90 degrees. Let's click that up here, click 0, and control right click to size it down. Let's just add a few of them, right? So we'll add one sort of there, and then bit further away, maybe. Yeah, okay, so that's too far away. So let's get that a bit closer then. It's not an exact science. In fact, it's such a bad science. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just trying to guess the rough. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, that alright? No one's really going to spot that, are they? I did also add some little lines, didn't I, as well? So I'm just going to do that as well. I think I actually had a section. There we go. Let's straighten her up again. Oh, but should we put one on that side? One on that side? Yeah, I like that. That looks good. That looks very good. I'm very pleased with that, actually. Alright, so let's make sure I'm recording this time. Yes, I am. This is good news. And let's save that, and let's export it. So if I just do File, Export Textures, I've already set it to the Unity Space Station Assets Models, and I've created a Tunnels folder, and I've set the config to the copy one that I had with the height in there, and I think it defaulted to the 2048 by 2048. So let's click Export. Job done. So let's go over to Blender and export that FBX as well to, am I doing it now? Yes. So let's go to the Documents Unity folder. I know we're doing this twice. This is what was irking me in the first video. I'm never quite sure whether to keep them separate or put them all in the same place. Tunnels, and then tunnel02.fbx, click export. So now if we slide into a Unity, here, I expect to see some action. Yes, here we go. Ah, no, hang on, Richard. You need to add that modifier. Add the mirror modifier X, Y, and Z. Okay, so those bits are back, because I think at the moment all it's done is that corner piece there. So let's do that again. Let's just do File, Export, FBX. Make sure it's the selected objects and experimental. I think somewhere here it's got apply modifier, you see. Has it? If it has, I can't see it. But I thought it did have. No, but it does, trust me. It does apply it before it exports it. There we go. Okay, so if we get back in here, it's probably have a little bit of a rethink. If it did, it was very quick. There we go, there's our tunnel there. So let's bring that in. I'll delete this materials folder. I know it's going to grumble about it, but just doing it anyway for now. Wow, it's super bright. Okay, so we can see that's the inside. So let's get this material created. Create material, tunnel material. Oh, should we say tunnel? Oh, let's call it tunnel material for now. And then we'll just start putting these guys in. Albedo, height into the height channel, metallic smoothness into metallic smoothness, and normal into normal. And click fix now. And then drag that material onto tunnel 02. And look, I think that's fabulous. It's very, very bright at the minute. We'll sort out in a few seconds, and obviously the floor panel's up there. But I really like that. So let's quickly clean this up on the directional light. I want to turn this directional light off, okay, which makes things too dark. So what I will do now is I will go into Windows lighting, and we'll keep the skybox as it is, but the ambient source is not going to be the colour. The ambient source is going to be a colour, and it's going to be so I think that was set to skybox before, like that. So you would have seen something that looked a bit more grotty like that when you click this off. So we'll change it again. So I've got a window lighting. Apologies, guys. I've been fiddling around with this, you see, ahead of the video. I do try and prepare, honestly. And then click on ambient source and click on colour, and there we go. We can kind of just start to play around with this now, just sort of picking a colour that we like. That's not too bright, not too dark. Something about there, maybe. See how that goes. Now, I think that looks alright. It doesn't look as good as I remember it from last time. It does need a directional light though, doesn't it? Let's just quickly click on window again under lighting. I thought I'd done that. Then we're going to say none to that as well. Okay, which is going to change that a bit. Where are we? Scene, light map, scene, none, sun. Hang on, what can we have here? Sun as a directional light. That makes no difference. Okay, ambient GI, reflection source is fine. Cutter, it's not set. The default material will be black. Okay, fine. All right, so we can tweak that a bit. We're going to need a light in there just to give it some shadow. But you can see that something's not sitting right with me here. Tunnel material. I have put the metallic in there, haven't I? Let's just turn that back on. It's much too bright, so let's just see if we can knock the intensity down. There you go, something like that. It's working. Okay, kind of cool, looking good. Let's just get that floor tile. I mean, we don't really care for the floor tile right now. Let's just get that into position. You can see that it's actually, I don't know whether that's deliberate or not, but it's exactly the right size. That's a bonus. You can always scale it if you want to, but it's actually the same width as that, which is good news. Okay, so what was the other thing I was going to do? Oh yes, I was going to add a skybox just to keep it interesting. So let's do that now. Let's do this. Let's do Windows Asset Store. I like the fact that you can add the Asset Store to Unity. Yeah, you don't have to sort of drag it in and bring it in from a separate folder. You can do this here. Now, if I just do search for skybox, come on, a bit slow. Skybox. Click on free only, obviously. I found this rather good one. I think it was this one. It's Purple Space Nebula. Totally free from this guy here. Very kindly offered. So let's just import that. Okay. Click that there. You're welcome to use a different one if you wish. Say import. I'll let that load. Okay, that's done. So if we go back to the scene view again, what I think we can do, and I go to window lighting, we can get our skybox, and we should be able to say Purple Nebula. Was it Purple Nebula? Purple Nebula, there we go. And you can see now that we can actually look outside, and that we will see space. So this is good. I'm really unhappy about the colour, the way this is. It looks so much better last time. I don't know why. I'll have a play around with that, guys, and see if I can work out what's going on there. It looks very flat now. I can't for the life of me work out why that is. Maybe it'll be better once once we've started adding a few things to it. Okay, so we've got a nice purple nebula outside, and that does actually affect the inside colour. You can see that there a little bit as well, which is kind of cool. Alright, so I'm going to stop there because we've actually imported this and we've done really, really well. There was one more thing I suppose I could do, and that's add the first person thing, so you could have a little walk around in here. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just go with what we know, go with what we like. You can see by the way now, can't you, that it's actually the seam. Now you sort of see it. Ooh, can you see there? That's where it's joined there. But it's very difficult to spot. Very difficult indeed. So we were able to use really high resolution textures and create a really good looking tunnel. One texture as well, so all good. Alright, so guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very, very much for watching. In the next one, we'll work on the corner pieces and the windows so that they can look outside. So that'll be cool. We're going to need to start adding some assets as well. We want some light strips. We're going to want some panels in here with sort of dials and knobs and buttons and maybe an LCD display, something like that. Things of interest. At the moment, it's a very bland-looking tunnel. So we'll work on that in future episodes. Thanks, guys, for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers now. Bye-bye.